Hi everyone, Talia from Zart Art, and today we're going to be making a Mondrian inspired print. If you don't know the work of Mondrian, he's best known for work that is very minimalist. So he uses only the primary colours, straight lines, and that's what we'll be replicating today in our print work. So what you'll need is just a sheet of foam. So I'm going to be using printing foam, or you could use packing material as well, so styrofoam sheets. So we're just going to cut off a small piece of this to use for our print. We've also got a black marker, some coloured pencils and cartridge paper here, and just a little bottle with water to mist our print, which will help transfer the ink of the texture from the plate onto our paper. So all I'm going to do to start off with is cut a small section of this foam. So with this, what I want is one side to be longer than the other side, so we get a bit of variation in our lines. So I'm going to be using these two flat, straight edges, and you can see we have one line that's going to be a bit shorter than the other line. So the next step is to create our prints on our cartridge paper. So all I'm going to do is colour one side of our foam, spray it with a little bit of water, and then press down to get our vertical and horizontal lines. So this is just a normal black texture, colouring in the side of our foam. And just make sure you get a decent amount of ink to cover, and then just with a little bit of water, and you don't want to do it too close, otherwise it will drip. So just a very fine mist, and then we're going to press it down. So try and get an even press so that will transfer. And now we have one straight line. So all I'm going to do is repeat lines going vertical and horizontal across the page, so we create a bit of a square grid. So as you're working, you want to make sure you do get a decent amount of texture onto your little printing plate. If you find that your lines aren't bold enough, just add a little bit more water or colour in with a little bit more texture and then go back over the top. The placement of your lines, there's not necessarily a right or wrong way to place them. You can do as many or as few as you want, so you might want to try a few different variations of how many lines you include, or even pull it back and only do a few. But as long as you've got a few lines that intersect and create rectangles or squares within the page, then you're going on the right track. So as you're working, if you find your text is not leaving much ink on your printing plate, just draw on another piece of cartridge paper until the colour comes back. It's just because the water's getting into the tip of your marker, and once you get rid of that excess water, then the colour will come back into the tip of your marker. Now that we've got a few prints on our page, obviously you can do more and you can pull it back and do less, but I'm quite happy with the shapes that we've got here at the moment. So what I'm going to do is use the three primary colours, which Mondrian would have used in most of his works as well, red, blue and yellow. And all I'm going to do is colour in some of those closed off sections within this picture. So just alternating between colours and not going too far and colouring in the whole sheet, just picking a few squares here and there to colour in with the pencils. So as I'm working, I can see that there are some areas that aren't completely closed off, and because I do want to add a little bit more colour across the page, I'm just going to add a few more lines. So that's definitely something you can do as you're working, because using the texture on the cartridge, it dries very quickly. There's not too much wait time in between making a print and colouring in, so you can colour as you go and continue to print as well. Okay, so now that we've added in a few more extra lines, I'm just going to continue colouring to finish this off. So now that I've finished colouring in a few of the squares, I'm quite happy with how it looks at the moment. I don't want to colour in too many, otherwise the page becomes a bit too busy, and I want to stick to that minimalist theme that Mondrian used in his own work. So that's all I'm going to do in terms of colouring, but there's lots of different ways that you can go about this. You can extend it by using different colour combinations. You could use acrylic paint if you have it and do colour mixing for secondary colours instead of primary. But this is a really nice simple printing activity, especially if you haven't done much printing before. It's a great way to get started on the medium. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.